Hello everybody, I hope you are well. This is Stacey. I am covering Crafty Hour 43 for Deanna. Deanna is away until tomorrow. And I know everything looks a little different here. I don't know. I give up. My phone, and then we just tried Diane's phone. They are both doing the same thing where it's so zoomed out, where it used to be very focused. So if anyone is a Facebook wizard, can you tell me what's going on? Good morning, Gail. Good morning, Debbie. Oh my gosh. I feel like the technology witches have cursed me a little bit. I don't know. Normally, it would be nice and zoomed on our little green mat here. So you're seeing a little bit of my house around me. It's like someone came to visit and I haven't had a chance to clean up. Oh well, right? I hope everyone is well. Hi, Wanda. Hi, Karen. Hi, Mary Ellen. Hello, Janice and Karen. I hope, hi, Joyce. Hi, Pam. I hope everyone is staying somewhat cool. I know around us, it's still hot, but I think it's going to calm down a degree or two. So no more 40, high 30s, maybe a high. Hi, Courtney. Courtney says, my house is way cleaner than her house. But, yeah, so I'm going to get started. I am filling in for Deanna. Deanna is our resident Hunkydory magician, creator extraordinaire. So I'm just going to do 3 kind of quick and easy cards. I've added a couple little things, and just because I don't have, this is a little new to me, I don't have 2 sets of things, so I kind of had to create, and I'm going to be, so I don't have a finished sample to show you first off. Yeah, it's going to be a little different for me. This is one of, we sold out of these kits. They sold like hotcakes. We actually oversold because we had a glitch with our website. So you will have a kit just like this one, and you should have 2 packs of the foam squares, and you will have a little some little stardust stickles, okay? And I don't know if you checked on the event. I'm so sorry about late homework. I did post late last night homework, but there was a nice image that Courtney sent me, and I also posted that in our Crafty Creations private group. Side note, if you're not part of that, you should join, especially if you're following along on these with us. Now, it has a photo of what Courtney will be using and what I will be using. I wonder if I can... So you know what? I'm just going to go through real quick. I want you to grab out the bird. So that's the blue bird and everything that goes with it. So you'll find a card. You know what? I'm gonna sneak in here. It'll just be so much better. Let's grab it out here. So we're going to be doing the bluebird, and we're going to be doing the dragonfly and the cute little bunny. I'm a little jealous Courtney gets to do the squirrel. Squirrels are my favorite. The die, Sharon, that I'm using today, I'll show the dies that I used. I have actually kind of inserted a couple other ones, so I will show those to you. And I don't know if I have it on hand. I thought we did, and by golly, I think they were sold out from under us. Okay, so you want to grab everything that you need. So you're going to want to grab that sheet. You are going to, you know what? Maybe you just want to, and hopefully you have kind of gotten a head start on completing these. If not, no problem. But for my segment here, you're only going to need the bunnies, not the squirrel. Okay, so we're gonna grab those two. This one has the dragonfly and the bird. And then you're going to have those. And then there were some lightweight paper squares. I'm trying not to decimate this kit. So they kind of look like that go with each one. So grab all of those out. And I know I mentioned that you would need 3 of the 6x6 card bases. And I just used white. I fibbed to you. We only need 2 of those. So I apologize for that. I don't know what I was thinking. And I'm going to get started with the bird, the blue bird. I don't know what kind of bird it is, but it's very pretty. And I just want to quickly, we just had a running around, the whole technology thing kind of throws you off a little bit sometimes. So namaste, deep breath here. I think this is the one, Sharon, that you were asking about. So this is the one that I put in the image. I should be able to order these. I know we ordered quite a few of them. It's a good one. It kind of has a nice little mix. And then I actually added, I will be using on this card, this die as well. It's from Craft Emotions. And feel free, if you have a square that maybe has a scallop on it, or you have your favorite kind of square, or if you just want to, I'm going to show you measurements, but if you just want to cut out and then maybe you want to use an embossing folder and emboss instead of having a particular die cut. So this is the one that I used. It's a bunch of, you get a lot of squares here. It's $26.99, but I just kind of like that little jaggedy edge. I'm always using scallops and things like that, so that kind of tickled my fancy. So I popped it in here. Okay, so we're working on, and I kind of, is this too, maybe this is too high now. Let's see how this is. Hopefully Mr. Stand is happy. So I kind of got started here. I did most of it. And I'll finish that in a moment with you guys. And if you've finished all of yours, that's wonderful. And again, you should have some foam dots. So for those of you that didn't catch the homework, the card base is 6x12, and then scoring it right in half to create a 6x6 inch card. Oh dear. And there's someone, a spammer. So just ignore him or them. Okay. So we have a 6x6, and My iPad is doing something really weird. So sorry, guys. I don't know what is going on here. There we go. I hope my comments seem a little odd. Thanks, Courtney. I hope my comments are showing, they seem to be kind of accurate. So if I am ignoring you, I will do a quick scroll after, and I will hopefully be able to help you out. But I think you guys are going to be just fine. So this card, it's a 6x6 card, which you, if you got the homework, you would have done already. And then simply cutting a piece of gold foil. And this is just our favorite Best Creations foil. It has that nice little bit of texture. And the gold foil is 5.5 by 5.5. And I am just going to attach that. Now, if you want to use, maybe you have some Hunkydory Adorable Scoreable, or you would like to use your kit in a different way, you go for it. You do whatever you want to do. I hope you'll share your results in our group. These are just some quick and easy cards. I'm excited to see what Courtney has up her sleeve. And then, like I just showed you, I die cut some blue cardstock. I used some Admiral, which is a nice navy from Basil. And this blue mat ends up being just over 5 inches, just a hair. So now, what I am going to do is I am going to pop this up with my foam squares. Now, if you have some foam tape, I'm just gonna do something kind of, I would do a little more support if I was at home, but I know it's no fun just watching someone peel foam tape. And maybe you have some cardstock that is a different color, or you want to use something metallic. It's up to you. And I'm just going to center that die cut square right in the middle there. Now, I decided to do something a little bit different. So you had this piece, which was together. It's very much like one of these, so creates a little card. I wanted to do something a bit different and kind of alternate how I'm using it. A lot of times I'm going to be using this part, but I decided to use this, and I wanted to put this in the center of the card, just so it's something kind of sparkly when we open the card, because we're going to have our beautiful little bird right on the top. So what I did, I took my trimmer and I trimmed 1/4 inch approximately off of each side. And so this gives me something that I can just nestle in here. So that gives me, I have a bit more of my gold showing, a little bit of my navy, and then I have this patterned piece going in the center. Now, I'm not going to pop that up because my birdie is going to have a lot of dimension to it. Okay, so I'm just going to attach. And then we've got our little bird here. So I don't know if you have finished. Oops, I forgot this. So that's going to sit like that, and then we're going to create on top of it. Now, I don't know if you have done your little decoupage pieces yet. I have almost finished mine, but I'm just going to take a second and finish. And I feel, I don't know if we have any newbies here, but if you are so if you're looking at your sheet, you're starting from the largest and working your way down. So you're building up, right? You guys could probably teach me a thing or two. You've had Deanna and Courtney and lots of Deanna's classes, I'm sure. And when you're looking at these, the decoupage elements, sometimes you don't want something that is so incredibly dimensional. Maybe you want to, you know, send it in the mail and not have to worry about so much postage. You could certainly divvy them up a little bit and not, I know that might sound sacrilegious to some. There's a lot of passionate Hunkydory peeps. But, you know, when you look at them, I think you can, didn't get the homework video. Hi, Linda, there isn't a homework video. I've just kind of been explaining as I go. The card base on this one is just a white card. So taking some white cardstock, I'll show you just in a second, and cutting it to 6 by 12, and then scoring it in half. So you've got a piece of any cardstock that you like, and it's 6 inches. So 6 inches by 12 inches. And then you're scoring it right in the center, okay? I'm changing this one up a bit. I'm using the base for one of them, but yeah. Now, if you don't want to do this and you just want to stick and use this, you're more than welcome to. Absolutely. You can still add some die cuts and do what you need to do. Okay? Okay. And I'm just looking at my comments here. And then there is the gold and the navy on there, okay? And this is just what I'm doing. Like I said, this is a craft along. It's not not a full-on class. So if you just want to join me and craft along with what you have or use the kit in a different way, that is more than welcome. Okay, my little birdie needs his wing. Okay, so this one and the next one as well is going to be similar to this, just switching it up a little bit. And then our last card is going to use the card in a more traditional sense. Perfect. Okay, so that is my outside. And I'm going to stick this little sentiment here. Now, maybe you have some stamps, or maybe you have, you know, when you walk around the store and you look at this color scheme, there's so many little elements, little fillers and sentiments and all of that. So I'm sure if we searched in our stash, or if you're a Hunkydory fan, I know that you have a ton of little bits and bobs. If you've taken Deanna's classes, I'm sure. Lots of leftovers. That's the great part about Hunkydory for sure. Okay, so then really simple on the inside here. I'm just going to attach and I'm not popping that up just because I don't want to add that little bit of weight. Now, if you wanted to add a handwritten note here, maybe you have a stamped sentiment that you really like, this would be a perfect little spot. You could, if you wanted to pop up and create a shaker box there, there's lots of little options there, okay? Or if you wanted to not utilize every layer of a bird, you could still probably create a couple birds. They wouldn't be as dimensional, and then you could have one on the inside here. I know that's probably against the Hunkydory rules, but I think it could work. So that is card number 1, quick and simple. So there's lots of dimension there. This might be a card that you stick in one of those boxes, and yeah. So that is the first. That's our little bluebird. And we're going to move on to the dragonfly. So that is this one. And for those of you that maybe didn't get to see the homework, I'll just explain again. You are more than welcome to use this as the card, and just work within this and tweak or add however you like. What I did for the first 2, I just took some of cardstock, cut it 6 by 12, score in the center, and wham bam, we have a card. So that's what we're going to do with the dragonfly. We've got our base, like I just said, that creates a 6 by 6 card. You are correct, Evelyn. The best things, there are no rules about Hunkydory. That is right. I like that. I like that when there's no rules. Okay, so that is the card base. Now, I was walking from where my office is, and I passed this foil, and I love this dragonfly. I'm a bit of a dragonfly fanatic, and I thought this foil I think might work and pick up that beautiful coloring on the wings. So I forgive me, I mentioned gold foil, but you could completely use gold foil. But we like this around here. This is the Tonic Mirror card. It's in Turkish turquoise, and it's $4.99 for 5 sheets, and it's a beautiful high gloss paper. And I know we've sold a kabillion packages of a variety of colors. So this one we're going to trim to 5.5 by 5.5. Okay. Never enough foil colors. That is so true. Okay. So this one is going to be 5.5 by 5.5. And so now I have, the cool thing about this is that it could be a card. Oh, Saw a little buffering there. The cool thing is that it could be a card, or you can cut it and now you have multiple pieces, right? So I'm going to go ahead and cut this right in half. It's a beautiful color. I know if you're in Deanna's Full Bloom, I know she's using it as well. It's a beauty. So I'm just going to cut this right in half, right along that spine, right? And then I've got this, and I'm just going to set that aside. Oh dear. Okay. I just realized that I did something I should not have. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way. And I'm going to grab my guillotine because I don't trust myself with that other trimmer. And if you like, and you're following along, I'm going to cut this border away. I'm going to have it so my edge is that white edge. Okay? So just, if you have a guillotine trimmer, please consider using that. I think my eyeballs are crooked. I have a really hard time cutting straight, but the guillotine makes it a little bit easier. I need just a little bit more. I think this trimmer is getting lots of love. Okay. I see there's lots of fun happening in the comments. That is lovely. And just a reminder, if you are new or just need a reminder, Courtney's video will be at 5 p.m. Pacific time. Okay, so this I'm just going to attach to my foil, just like that. And I just see a little itty bitty border. Now, if you wanted to see more, you could certainly adjust that, but I wanted that white. I didn't like those colors beside each other as much. So I wanted that little white barrier. And this foil could certainly be another color, right? You know that. You can switch it up. Or maybe you have a huge, one of those beautiful, huge die cuts with the beautiful lacy bits. Okay. So that is going to now go on the front of my card. And I am going to pop it up a bit. And I saw some talk about homework. We really try. Again, I apologize. I was under the weather. We really try to get our homework out. I don't do these very often, but I know Deanna, Courtney, Diane, whoever's doing it, really tries to get that homework done as soon as possible. And sometimes there's no homework. Maybe it's just a supply list. And so always check. I feel like every time there's a little bit of confusion where it will be, I shouldn't say always, but we will post it in the Crafty Hour Creations, but also check that event and check the discussion. I think that's where things get missed sometimes. Okay. And then my kit was missing a few things, so I'm hoping I have a little, it was missing a few bits and bobs, but I believe this is the color that goes with this card. Oh no, maybe not. Oh yes. So if you have another one that works well, I'm just putting this on the inside. Okay. It's a nice, really lightweight. Now I could mat it, but I kind of like just the simplicity of, it has a nice kind of light white flowing through it, and it just kind of all melts together. That is a great place to hand write something. I feel like we never hand write anymore. Yeah, so that might be a nice little spot, or maybe you have something that would go along with this. Now, what I thought I would do, if you haven't put this together yet, I saved, gosh, I love these. They're so pretty. I saved a layer and a couple wings because I would like to use that on the inside, okay? If you don't want to do that, that's cool. But I thought I would try that. So we've got our little center bit, and I'm gonna put that, you know what? I think I'm gonna go crazy because this is one of my favorite little winged creatures. I'm gonna pop this up. And if you're going rogue, you have to, the rule is that you have to share with the class. So you need to post in the Crafty Creations. So I'm gonna pop that up there. And then we've got our first little layer here. Okay. And then I am going to continue. Wish I could see what you guys are doing. I always think that every time I'm on here. I can't believe it's Thursday. I swear the summer it's going to be Halloween before we know it, I think. It's just flying by. But I hope you're staying cool and safe. It's been a heck of a time all over everywhere it feels like. So I'm just adding another layer here. And I don't have, oh yes I do. So your stickles, I don't know about you, a lot of these areas have a lot of beautiful kind of foiling already, but there's lots of little places where you could, I'm not going to add it just because it takes a reminder, this takes a bit to dry. I always like to leave my stickles out 24 hours if you can, because it really does, it's a glitter glue. It's glitter suspended in a gluey substance. It's not really an adhesive, it's not an adhesive, but they call it a glitter glue. So lots of different spots where I would go in. If you think about these water lilies, maybe it's been a dewy morning, it would be beautiful just kind of maybe adding some to the tips of a few petals on maybe the edge of, you know, the lily pad, etc. It's just meant for a little accent. Maybe you want to try and create a little, like a little diamond or something like that. It's just meant for a little accent. So don't forget about your little stickles in there. Stick that back in there. And And I'm going to add my wings. And of course, some gems would be really beautiful on here. I know we all have a few gems, right? Yeah, Stickles is, I swear I remember the first time I used it, and I just thought it would take like 10 minutes or something to dry, and I completely destroyed whatever I had created and had to do it again. It takes a minute. I don't know why, considering really what it is. Okay. So that is my front. So we've got our 6x6 card base. I have my little mini border here of foil. I used a tonic Turkish turquoise, I think. It's a 5x5, 5.5 by 5.5 piece. And then utilizing that card front from the Hunkydory card. And then we've built our little decoupage bit there. So pretty. So now I have this little front, or the inside, and I just thought it would be kind of fun to add a little something here. And I'm gonna add some foam tape. So I just squirreled this away when I was putting together my, oh, isn't that just, dragonflies are magical. They are, you know, proof that magic exists, I think. I just wanted something a little fun in here. And I thought this might work. You could also add, you know, another circular die cut if you want, but I'm kind of keeping it simple. I could do that if I wanted, but I do want to leave space for some sort of sentiment. So I'm just going to have him just sit like that. And then I kept a couple of the wings. Gems would be nice in the front, Linda. Absolutely. Oh my gosh. I can think of some of the pink fresh ones. Ooh, that would be beautiful. Absolutely. Okay. So this is this card complete. And again, just quick and easy, using that beautiful card front there, and then just using that lighter weight pattern paper that coordinates on the inside. Again, if you wanted, you could mat it. The Hunkydory, the 3D decoupage part of it is so gorgeous. I wanted to keep it simple, okay? So that is that one. Thank you, guys. Yes, Sandy, that would be gorgeous. Oh, and Linda, I think I saw Deanna or Courtney comment that it was the, just to show you guys, it's the Turkish turquoise. We have some. It's $4.99. It's a good price. Okay, I have to be careful I'm not mixing up that kit with that kit. Okay, time for my other favorite. We're gonna do the bunny. I love this bunny. It's bunny season right now around our yard, and I swear I've seen this one in our yard. They're just so cute. Oh dear. I just stuck that there because it was a little frantic. And I thought I'll just add a little bit of the repositionable, but it kind of stuck. So this one, we're going to use this as a card. So no card base needed. We're going to utilize it. Now, on the back, you could have some fun here. If you have one of those handmade stamps, that would be a fun little focal point there. I will leave it to you if you want to do something there. Yeah. Some cards I have seen if you're decorating. I have actually seen some cards where they kind of toss a little sentiment on the back because you're focusing so much on the inside being so pretty. So this one's gonna kind of be like that because this is pretty just as it is, right? It's stunning. It has the foil and the flowers and the nice little die cut circle. And so yours probably looks like this, and it has a little bunny, so we've popped that out. And then I went ahead and I used that lightweight paper that coordinates with this card. And I just went ahead and attached it on the inside, okay? And then this is where I'm going to use a couple of different dies. Now, I was a little bit of a squirrel this morning because I kept seeing things that I thought would be kind of fun and that I wanted to kind of give a shot. So I did use this die. This is the branch out die. I bought this one. It's $23.99, but look at those nice branches. So this is more of a chunky one, and this is more of a little more of a fine branch. What I love about dies like this is it could be a branch die, but it's also leaves, greenery, something that I am often searching for. Filler, right? You can buy filler, which we all do, but it's nice to have some dies that will kind of help you along the way, right? So I like this one because it's kind of simplistic. I could run it through, I wouldn't use a 3D embossing folder, but to add some texture to that, you could color it and heat emboss it and do all sorts of fun things. The other one that I used, and I don't know if I thought we had these in stock. There are several different varieties of essentially this. Some stems, some greens, some flowers, but I love them again because they are made for stuffing. These tall stems, and I'm going to show you, they just, yeah, they're very, very handy dandy. So those are two that I did use. And I was just going to do, so this is the Studio Light one. You can see how kind of fun that is. So that's just out of the card, the gold foil. And then beside the Turkish foil, I saw this. This is the Seafoam Green. Oh, that's psychedelic. But I thought, ooh, this goes quite nicely with this green. So I'm gonna try tossing a few sprigs of that in there. And I lost my little bunny face. Okay, so I'm going to attach to the center. No stressing needed. You know, it's got this nice little helper here. So I'm just going to place that kind of right in the center of the circle. Hopefully Mr. Buns is going to be, and if it's not perfect, it's okay. Just switch it out, move it around. So that's my first layer. Isn't he so cute? I can't wait to see. Courtney got the squirrel. I know I've said that already, but I love squirrels. If you're on TikTok or Instagram, there are several people that have pet squirrels, or they have cameras in a little box in their yard and there's squirrels that live in there. I don't have to watch TV. I just could watch these squirrels. They're so cute. So I'm a bit obsessed. There he is. Oops. So that's what we're working towards here. Oh dear. I'm so sorry. We have to pop this up. Good gravy. If you've already stuck it down with something really sturdy, don't risk ruining it. I'll offer you options. Oh, I got so focused on the rabbit and I forgot what my ultimate goal is here. So I'm just going to put a few of my foam squares because I want to tuck, kind of the rule of tucking. Make a plan. Make a plan, figure out where you're going to need to stuff, because if I put my adhesive all around here, I'm not going to be able to stuff under, okay? I almost ruined that for myself. And if you're not tucking, or if you've already stuck it down, there are raised pieces here where we could still do the same thing. So don't stress. There's always a way. First, I'm going to finish my bunny because he needs the rest of his little face. I just love these. Now I know why people get addicted to these, because it's so relaxing, just kind of building them and playing around with them. Even my husband has a few Christmases he's asked about doing their Christmas cards because he's not a crafter, but he found this really fun. So if your husband or partner says you never include him in your crafting, here's a lovely opportunity, right? Okay, so we've got, isn't he cute? So we've got our little bunny here. Now what I wondered about is just kind of tucking and having some things kind of happening, okay? And I'm just gonna play. This is kind of flying by the seat of my pants because I decided this right, earlier this morning. And I don't want to go too hog wild. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix these. It's a gold and it's seafoam green. And just in case, sometimes when I'm stuffing, I won't use my forever adhesive until I'm kind of ready. That's gonna poke out. And I just want to do a little bit of layering. Where did my glue? And so this is the great part about all of these die cuts, and especially anything that is greenery, leaves, foliage, flowers. They never go out of style, ever, right? When will a flower or a leaf ever go out of style? Probably not very likely. So they are great investments. I think I'm gonna pop him up. This is where I start to question my sanity when I want to pop up these little tiny flowers, but it has to be done. Doesn't have to be, but kind of looks kind of nice. And you could have, you don't have to use foil. You could use cardstock. You could use all sorts of things, right? Whatever you have. And I think I'm going to just have one of these. I'm going to snip off the stem. And if you don't have die cuts, if you don't have something similar to this, what about in your, like all of the die cut elements and things like that? You know, think like that. Think about your simple stories, 49 to Market, all of those things, right? Now, that would be a really fun place for a little gem too. I'm not gonna go too crazy. I think I might just add a little something here and call that a day. Okay, and something I like to do if you, now this is a very pretty card. This is what I would call a pretty card. There's lots of glimmer and shimmer, but sometimes I want to use a foil and it's out of place, but you still want that kind of foil. Maybe I don't have the exact shade I want. If you take your sanding block, works especially nicely with the textured foil, and you just very lightly rub it a little bit with your sanding block or paper. It just removes, and you have to do it very gently and carefully. It'll remove the top layer of the foil if you're not careful, but if you just scruff it ever so slightly, it just removes a bit of that sheen. So you still have a bit of the sheen, but it looks a bit distressed. That's often what I find myself doing. So I'm gonna have one little guy there, and I think I'm just going to add just a little sprig. And see, it's all about being able to play with this, right? So all of a sudden I have these two things, but I have hundreds of, well, a lot of different options for layering and cutting elements apart, all that sort of thing. And I'm just going to put, just so I have a little bit of gold there. Oh dear, my glue. And so that's my bunny. Now I still have lots of space here. I could put, I wouldn't stamp on this because I feel like any sort of stamp is going to get lost on the pattern. But you could certainly, I mean, how many of us have those lovely little label dies? You could cut a little rectangle, maybe mat it with a bit of foil and have a stamped greeting there, a rub-on greeting, whatever. Maybe you have, you know, some of these from Hunkydory. This was meant to go with that one. This little guy has a happy birthday. gonna stick it right out front. Oh no, oop. I'm just gonna stick it there. And I forgot about these. I also die cut just to show you out of some vellum, because I feel like we kind of forget about vellum. Vellum is nice. You could, if that was too much for you, you could kind of add a layer of vellum in there to soften the shininess of the foil. But it's also just a really nice, sometimes in some projects, foil would be too much. Those dyes would just be too much. But sometimes it's really nice to have a little something. It adds a little something there. So don't forget about your vellum when you're die cutting and doing all of this. Okay, we are done. 5 minutes early, but thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for patience with the late supply list and for the technological issues at the beginning of the day. I'll quickly, so these were the 2 dies that I used, Branch Out, and this is the Flowers and Branches from Studio Light. And then this was the square from the first card. Thank you so much, guys. This was from Craft Emotions. It's one of their squares. And the Tonic Seafoam Green and the Turkish Turquoise. Okay, so we have our Mr. Bunny. Oops. And we did our dragonfly with our little friend on the inside. And then our beautiful little birdie. Okay, so we thank you for joining us, and a reminder that Deanna will be here to do a reveal tomorrow at 9. I don't think you're gonna wanna miss it. And same routine as always, we'll post an event. And if you missed that, just tune in to our Facebook page at 9. You'll be able to order from our store, from Courtney's store. Courtney will be going live at 5 p.m. Pacific. And if you go over to her website, she's got an event. Don't forget, it's 2 different stores. I know some of our new folks, it's easy to forget that there's two separate stores. Okay, you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you so much for joining me.